Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Gwen. Folks, you know, I'm a real believer in copper. And I'm a real believer in projects with grade, because that's the one thing you can't engineer regardless of what you do. I'm also a big believer in size, so that you gotta have some scale. It's not enough to have grade. You gotta be in a good socio-political environment, and you gotta be able to develop these projects with a reasonable capital cost. And then at the end of the day, you gotta have a team that can execute once you have those things above. So I'm gonna take you through a project I think that's gonna check all those boxes for you, because the copper industry and the copper market unto itself has some pretty unique characteristics that I think we're able to address with this project here and realize this as Gwen has talked. Now, in terms of the team, I wanted to acknowledge that both David Schmidt and Robert Archer are in the crowd here today, and both are directors of Prize, and Walter Spraganolo, who's our manager of investor relations, is here at the show and make up part of our team. So the cautionary statement, which folks all know, important though. Now, highlights of this project, that's a nice sort of photograph of some of the zones that we see here, very, very high grade oxide. This is in northeastern Mexico that I'll take you through. The company really moved into copper over the last six to 9 months. We have a fairly significant gold silver asset in southeastern British Columbia as well, but we really believe that a pivot into copper at this time in the market, for the reasons that Gwen's talked about, was the right thing to do. We've been looking at assets all over the world. We found one that we think is very, very special here. And it's really what the focus of the company is going to be going forward. But I don't want to lose fact that we do have a pretty decent gold silver asset as well, which I'll touch on at the very end. We have a big land position. It has scale. It has grade. We're in a good area of the country, and it is something that could be developed relatively quickly. And we have a great management team, and we've been able to raise money in a very tough market. It took a little longer. I've probably given away at least one of the future of my kids, royalty on one of them or something, in order to get it all in the door. But it's been a tough market out there, but we've been able to do it, and we've been able to get people in behind us to support this as we go forward. Now, this is post-financing. One of the things is we had the support, we had the backers, we got some great new shareholders into the company that are going to take us forward. So we had to issue some stock, but now we're ready to go, and we're going to move this forward. The copper market, I won't say any more on that other than just to recognize that it's not enough to just say that there's a supply deficit coming, because there's some big projects out there that are in the copper space. Obviously, you need to be able to deliver in a time frame that allows you to take advantage of a market that is going to be improving. We've seen copper prices uptick recently, but I think the real test on a lot of these, because I have spent really the last 10 years in the copper business, and I've seen a lot of projects, but a lot of them are 0.28, 0.3% or lower. In some cases, they're in remote regions. They're large sulfide deposits with big open pits and large tonnage and massive capital, long permitting timelines, difficult socio-political jurisdictions. So one of the big things, I think, when you're looking at projects is you say, okay, they might have some pounds there, but are they going to be able to realize that opportunity in a reasonable period of time for a CapEx that is actually something that you can move forward in the marketplace? And you'll see from what we have here, it's rapid, and it's low CapEx and high grade. So this is what it looks like. A nice part of Mexico, a desert environment, and very easy to work in. Now, this is a red bed style type copper deposit. This is similar to what you see in Poland and in places like the DRC, which are some of the richest copper deposits in the world. This is an ex-BHP property that they did some regional exploration on, and they were looking for a very, very big deposit. They had some indications, but really oxide, this was in the early 90s, was not really the focus of folks. They were looking for the big sulfide underneath. They didn't find it. They moved on. The project fell into private hands, and we acquired it last December and brought it into the company early this year. It's got good grade, and it's got big, wide mineralized zones that I'm going to show you here, and there's really significant silver as well. This is where we are up in northeastern Mexico. This is a great part of the country. It's safe. There's none of the drug routes going up to the U.S. border or anything that we're in. We're just on the western side of the Sierra Madre, you can see there. It's all road accessible, 3-hour drive from Monterrey, which is a major center. We've got road, we've got rail, we've got power all nearby. We've got agreements in place with the local ejidos. So we have all those key things that don't always get talked about, but they're fundamental to whether you're going to have project success. We've got access to water, and we've got power and rail and a good workforce right nearby. So we're fully permitted to go. We're fully paid up. We own the property 100%. We don't have any royalties. Sorry, EMX, but you don't have one on ours yet. Yet at all. So we're good to go. We're going to keep as much of this for our ATM of our shareholders. So this is give you a bit of sense of what the project looks like. And I talked about scale, sort of district scale opportunity. So you can see that there was grade. We listed it, and I'll show you some of it there. This is located over 50 kilometers of these strata-bound oxide layers on surface. So when we go, we just started drilling, and I'm going to show you some pictures in a sec. We're drilling through known mineralization, known grade, and our key goal over the next number of months is to build tons and build pounds and demonstrate to the market that this isn't just isolated pods of high-grade material, but that they actually connect, and we can create something with scale that can be turned into ultimately a high-value mine. I'll just go back. The two areas that we're working in are the one called Don Indio and the Granizio. So we just started drilling those actually in the last 10 days. So we raised the money over the summer, and the drills are turning now, and you're going to start seeing this coming out. And that's one of the drill rigs that got set up at, this is actually at Granizio. You can see the face that you're looking there is at about sort of 15, 18 meters high. There's actually some underground surface workings where the old timers, basically artisanal almost, were climbing in there and leaching this material. So we've consolidated this whole land package, and this is what we're going to be drilling. There's carbonates over the top. We'll be drilling down through the mineralized zone. We don't fully know how deep it goes, and we don't know how far back into the hillside it goes, but those are the things we're going to be testing. But the surface mineralization in and of itself is significant. This is another area. This is in the northern part of the property. It's called the Pila Grande Mine. You can see the green there as it slopes into the hillside. It actually gets, the grade seems to improve at depth. And there's some underground workings and drill stations that are set up there. We're going to be drilling from the top down through. But you can see just on the left side here, some of the kind of grades that we're looking at. Grades up to over 5% and average of 2.5. So these are real significant opportunities for us to move at and look at. Again, some recent sampling results. These are all surface trenching and composite samples, weighted average composite samples over these areas. So this is the first time the market is going to have a chance to see diamond drill data. So we've got 2 diamond drills going. We're going to do 3,000 meters in phase 1, and then phase 2, and then phase 3. We'll just keep working through it. Our proposed program in 2018 talked about diamond drilling to build that copper oxide resource. So that's where we're at right now, just started last week. We're going to be doing a lot of metallurgy, as Gwen talked about. There's actually, right adjacent to us, there's artisanal mining going. They're crushing it, putting in big plastic barrels, dripping sulfuric acid on. The PLS solution drops out the bottom, and they're plating out pure copper on scrap steel. And they're making a lot of money at it, and it's very impressive, and it's the same material that we have. So we're going to be a little more sophisticated than that, obviously, in our work, but it demonstrates the veracity of what we're doing. A lot of geological model development, stratigraphic mapping, targeted geophysics. We'll do some economics, and we're going to initiate the environmental work. So we're preparing this project for the future and for production. Now, this is what the future is, and this picture is really important in what this might be, because I want to give you a sense of where we want to go in a relatively short period of time. Once that resource is developed, These are copper cathode sheets, and it's pretty simple technology, and it's low capital cost. They're an SXEW plant. They're used all over the world. You drive those, you plate out the copper on steel, and then it goes straight to market. So you're not shipping a concentrate over to a smelter or whatever it might be. You can actually maintain, again, the margin for yourselves. The last thing I'll just mention is we do have a pretty good gold-silver asset in a different market. We might be pushing this a little harder, but it's 1.5 million inferred ounces in southeastern British Columbia. We're drilling it right now. There's 2 drill rigs going. It's a 2,700-meter program, and results on that are pending in the weeks ahead. So you get both sides of the ledger here, and I think a lot of exciting stuff coming. So that's the summary. Thank you very much for your time, and Gwen, thanks for being able to work with you on this. Thank you.